It's a grown man in the building. I don't think you're ready. Come on. We riding on some grown man knees. We step into some grown man knees. Conversation on some grown man knees. Put your hands up on some grown man knees. We puffing on some grown man knees. We sipping on some grown man knees. Come on. We vibing on some grown man knees. We loving on some grown man knees. I know, you know, that you're down with me. You know, I know that you're feeling me. Come on. Know that the time has passed for you to raise your glass, to stand up, put your pants up, and you know that it's time.
You know who this is, and you know what this is. It is Tuesday night, which means it is time for another incredible, dope episode of Grown Man Conversations.
Yes.
If you are tuning in, make sure, like they used to say back in the day, you put your ears on us tonight, all right? Because this is a big deal broadcast. BDB, this is a big deal broadcast here on Grown Man Conversations. Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am one half of the hosting team for this visual podcast. I go by the name of Tony.
I would like to introduce myself. I'm the other part of this co-hosting team, and I go by the name of Y Square. We are in the building again.
And we are moving in one direction, and that's with this word right here. Love always wins, and that's the way we move. Tonight, we're going right into it. Ain't no foreplay.
No.
It's straight, come into the crib, take your clothes off. It ain't no music. It ain't nothing. We getting straight to it.
Straight to it.
There's something that's going on, like my mom used to say, it's something in the water.
It is.
And I've been in Charlotte since 97, took a brief hiatus to Atlanta and came back in 2017. And there's always been something in the water. And one of the reasons, if not the reason, why I feel that I'm no longer on air is because of what's in the water and my refusal to drink it.
Yeah.
So tonight we are being joined by a powerful black woman.
Powerful black woman, entrepreneur.
Owner, operator,
Yes.
business extraordinaire. And we are taking the information straight to the people so you can know it and not know of it. And we can see collectively what we can do to help this sister
Yes.
and form our own call to action. Now, like the minister says, Yolanda, before we introduce her, this is not spineless conversations. You handkerchief head Negroes, turn your volume down if you're afraid, okay? But I need you to pay attention tonight. Yolanda, introduce this young lady, please.
Yes, we're going to introduce. Well, I'm going to let this young lady introduce herself, actually, because she is
A powerhouse.
a powerhouse. She's a staple in the community. What she has been doing, I've known Robbie, at least I've known of you for over 20 years, because when we,
Prior to me coming to the
yeah,
market.
exactly,
Yeah.
from when you were doing the big parties at the club and bringing in Puff Daddy and celebrities and folks from up top that didn't come down here. So you've put a lot of work in this community. So why don't you introduce yourself and let the people know what's in the studio.
This is the first time. My name is Robbie McNair Guzman. This is actually my 32nd year as an entrepreneur. I've been living in the Charlotte marketplace for 18 years now.
Okay.
I owned a popular nightclub here in Charlotte for 8 years. It was Club Ice and Club Caviar. So, you know, I have worked for 20 plus years in entertainment, booking artists as a promoter, Jane Doe. She's dead, but
We remember her.
yeah. So, again, in a commercial dispute, my former landlords at 300 East Stonewall Street had sold the property unbeknownst to me. So in 2012, when we went in and did this almost $500,000 remodel. We didn't know that beyond the 3-year term, we were out of there.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've experienced, some discord with commercial, leasing and knowing the discrimination that, you're subject to just in entertainment itself. In this state, there's a network that kind of controls things. And dealing with liquor, it's still a controlled state. I don't think that there are very many minority women that even hold a mixed beverage private club mixed beverage permit, which is difficult, to obtain.
Right.
And again, there's always this idea that nightlife is dangerous, and for urban, it's always bad. But under my guidance, that club, we had one of the least incident reports for any nightclub in Mecklenburg County's history. I never had even an infraction from ALE.
Says a lot.
Yeah, because we're talking about, I've seen at this point probably hundreds of thousands of people. I've promoted and created thousands of events. Crowd management is something that I've been good at. So we've got a good reputation, I feel like, in the community in terms of being, permitted to sell liquor. Our business model kind of changed because, one, I'm getting older. I'm 50 years old now. So after spending 20 plus years as a woman in entertainment, I'm worn out from the discrimination, misogyny, just subject to all of the violence and the environments. I was tired. So my business partner, Michael Ann Gosby, was a bartender. She worked with me for 8 years as a bartender. In her professional career, she worked for a company that managed events for NASCAR. So she's always done events. And she had started doing like children's parties and expressed to me that, she thought that this maybe could work. And she already had the good life. And she was doing these kids' parties, but she was starting to get calls for weddings and, like celebratory events. And she just thought that maybe we could work well together. And initially, it started out very informal. We formalized the business in 2016. Our first few years of sales, the business just ramped really fast. I knew that we always needed our own venue because after servicing hundreds of events each year, we've worked at all of the different venues. We're a preferred vendor for the Ritz-Carlton. We worked with all of the hotels. So we knew that, okay, we need our own space. We know how to manage spaces.
Right.
So we'd spent a few years looking. Our realtor reached out to us in late 2018 saying that he had a property that he wanted us to see, that he had a relationship with the commercial realtors, the owners, and they were looking for a business like ours. So I met with the landlords, the Browder Group. I saw the space. It was over almost 11,000 square feet, and it's a total gut. There were no walls. There's just upstairs, downstairs. I had just lost my mother. I was going through a lot, and I just knew that it would take a lot to do the project, and I didn't think that I could do it. So I declined. These guys asked us back. No, they really, really wanted to see if we could work things out because unbeknownst to me, the Browder Group had acquired quite a bit of property in Enderley Park, which is the historic Black neighborhood. And there was gentrification clearly that was going to take place. And in working, I think, with the city officials and the councilmen in the district, they just had some parameters and they wanted to have a minority business with presence. But the minority business had to qualify. They weren't going to do a favor.
Right.
So that was hard, finding the match. So once they did, they were aggressive in making sure that we secured the lease and we moved forward. So we signed that lease in December 2018, and we didn't open until September 2019 because of all the delays with rezoning, because most of this area was residential, and it's all become commercial. So there was a lot of rezoning, construction delays. So we were delayed in opening. We were open 6 months, September 2019, and March 2020, COVID. Yeah. Because we are considered large capacity gathering, we were one of the first categories of business to be mandated to shut. We were closed for 10 months.
Wow.
So our sales, as our business was trending, our 2019 sales we were just less than 50,000 shy of $1 million in gross sales. We lost over $600,000 in 2020. We received very little, less than $20,000 PPP, because also we were very concerned with all of the investment and debt that we already had. We're in I'm $1 million in. So this was a scary, scary time because
Yeah.
our whole lives were
Right.
hanging,
Exactly.
literally. Yeah. And so in trying to process and figure out what to do, we knew that there was nothing we could do. We were shut down. Once we opened back up, I knew that having that liquor license, I always felt that it was like a safety, that if this event planning thing doesn't work out, I know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, okay, we're going to have to get back to what we know how to do, creating and promoting our own events, because people were not booking for private. It's very limited. There was all of these mandates for the number of guests and people being concerned about being super spreaders. So there was no business.
Right.
So we started this brunch on Sunday, just because whenever I have typically done these women's events or ticket events, it's been brunch. So we figured, okay, it's going to be brunch. We identified a food truck vendor because we have a catering kitchen and a baking kitchen, but not a full commercial kitchen. So we had to find a partner. We launched on February 14th of 21. And again, my promoter skill set kicks in, and we were able to immediately start to generate a crowd. Noble Smoke immediately started complaining about the parking in this shared parking lot.
That's how we feel about it. Right. That's
for
cricket.
them. That's for them.
And of course, the complaints are because your business is thriving and you are looking like you're bringing, because you bring quality people out.
Yeah,
There's
that's part
no
of it.
way that they could sit there and say that the crowd that you bring and the folks who come to that venue are not dressed properly. They're not acting, inappropriate. These are top-notch people from the images and videos that I've seen. So what is the problem that you're having guests come to your events?
This shared parking lot is considered his immediate parking, right in front of the business. So to me, right away, it was you're profiling the customers, because if it's 200 plus parking spaces, how do you differentiate your customers from mine?
Right.
You could not monitor that amount of guests. So right away, that's considered by definition profiling. So you're profiling. The first conversation that I had with the Browder Group, their office manager, she suggested, once she realized that it was a shared parking lot, that our guests should park in the very back of the lot first.
The back.
In the back, giddy back. I'm a very direct, I'm very direct. I've noticed, I'm realizing that I'm probably overly aggressive in this new space. I'm coming from nightlife. So over the last few years, I think I've started to try to open up and better communicate what I have been going through, so that you can better understand as a woman why I am so aggressive. I've been subject to a lot of different things, and I know that that's not the Southern thing.
And when
to
you
be.
say aggressive, not to interrupt, are you meaning your tone or the action that you're taking? Because I'm sitting here in front of you now, and Robbie, of course, no, I don't have personal history with you to know you from years, but you don't have aggressive energy to me. You don't speak loud, you know what I mean? Right now, even from how I see you respond on and how you are in your social media, I wouldn't get that. Now, you may be aggressive about your business, meaning that you're not going to just sit back and let someone just say and do anything. You're going to go and move forward with whatever you need to do professionally. But to me, that's not a knock. Like, aren't we supposed to be aggressive about our business?
Grown women are.
Right.
But that's
in
part
the
of
dominant
probably
society, aren't they
conversation.
aggressive about their business and how they move?
Well, see, here's the thing, because I'm listening to you speak, and you're speaking from a black woman's perspective. The dominant society doesn't share the same energy that you do. And the term aggressive doesn't have to be her tone. It doesn't have to be her delivery. The aggressive nature comes from her look, and that's that look of melanin, being able to be in a position of business and ownership. And understand, the Bible Belt is the good old boy network. And the dominant society does not take a liking to the likes of you with Y&S Productions. The likings of her with what she's doing. It don't sit well. So there's a philosophy in this country. It's called I'm white and I say so. And it works.
But is that what
across
we are
the
supposed?
board.
Right. I know that's there.
That's what's trying to be implemented here.
I get that. I totally get that. And I realize what we're dealing with. But I guess my perspective also as an entrepreneur, I personally have not gone through what you are dealing with right now. And I don't know how I would respond if I did. But I do know that my business and the brand and the things that I've created mean the world to me, the same way someone else's business and what they've done and their livelihood and their families. You're not just going to come and take that away from me because of the color of my skin. Now, you can try, but I'm definitely going to speak up. And I get sick and tired of when we do speak up, meaning have a voice. Not that I'm speaking up and that I'm yelling, that I'm cursing, that I'm saying things derogatory to you. But when I speak up for what I believe in, now all of a sudden I'm aggressive. Now all of a sudden I'm intimidating. Now all of a sudden I'm threatening. To me, that's a bunch of crock. And that's a bunch of BS. And to me, that's the narrative that we need to change and we need to take control of. And I know it's going to be a feat and a fleet, but to me, conversations like this and people being able to hear, and like you said from the beginning, this is not for the scared Negroes. This is for the people who will speak up. We got to be able to have a voice. So if this woman can't have a voice in the community of what she's doing, providing a service and entertainment and joy and laughter for folks, in a harmless way, like what have we come to? So I'm glad that we're having the conversation and, you know, the candid talks, because the folks to me need to know.
Right. And when you speak on it, you're speaking to the choir, because we all understand exactly what you're saying. It's a dominant society that doesn't want to understand. That's why they're putting this unnecessary pressure and all of these angles and all of this extraness on her, hoping that she'll do exactly what you said we won't do, that she'll let it go. She'll leave it alone. She'll stop talking about it. She'll stop fighting for her business. And corporate America has a model of whatever they do to you, they would rather you just walk away.
Right. And be quiet.
Okay? They would rather you just walk away. Don't turn around and come back and try to implement it. Just walk away. This is another example of that. I was telling her before we started, I didn't even know where Noble Smoke was. And I go down Freedom all the time. And I never paid attention to it. I would look and see the facility, but it wasn't like, oh, that's okay. I never did. And the only reason I knew about the Beulah place is because one day I saw the side of the wall and I said, oh, that's a dope wall to take a picture in front of. Mm-hmm. That's what caught my attention. I said, oh, I got to come back and take a picture in front of this. And then somebody was telling me, oh, well, you know, they're chicken sandwich. I said, well, I don't eat meat. So that ain't going to be no incentive for me to go. Right. You can forget about that. And I see they're putting one over in the South End near where we are. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, okay. Then I started tying two and two together when I started hearing her talk about this gentleman. I said, oh, that's the place. So the other day when I went down Freedom, I made it my business to get to that intersection and slow down and see where your facility was, look at the parking, and then see his facility and say, okay, so this is that corridor, okay? This is the corridor that we're talking about in this historically black community.
It's actually called the Corridor of Opportunity. The Opportunity Corridor is what the city of Charlotte has labeled it.
Wow.
Well, it sounds good.
On Freedom Drive.
Well, it sounds good.
But the opportunity obviously isn't there. I want to shout out some of the people on Facebook that have been chiming in. What's up, Trey Perry? She says she loves this conversation. Thank you for joining. Sanji Williams, she says she's from the hair salon and spa. She loves the show, and she's going to be sharing it as well.
Share. Like my girl Vicky Diller say, share. What's
up, JD Houston? Thank you for joining. He says shout out to Tone X and the guest. And then also Alan. He was like, why two amen? I mean, amen, White Square.
That's right. My man right there, Boss 69. Mm-hmm. What has been the conversation with you and the business? And have you had a chance to talk with the owner?
Yeah. Of Noble Smoke?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Absolutely not. Last Tuesday, we were all invited to meet at the landlord's office. There were a few community leaders, councilmen, and we wanted to sit down to kind of talk through this. Everyone that was invited showed up but him. No one representing the business came to the meeting. They removed the sign simply because they were in default by putting the sign up, and they had 48 hours to remove the sign, or the landlord could file eviction papers. So that statement that they released to the Charlotte Observer about them blaming the landlord, saying that it basically was the landlord's fault. They had almost pitted us against each other. Mm-hmm. They understand why we feel attacked, but they would never do that in kumbaya. Mm-hmm. We've never personally talked. After the media coverage, we had been receiving some, on a caller ID, some calls from a Heidi Noble, assuming that maybe it was affiliated, but we never returned the call. But prior, we never had a conversation. And this could have been solved with some simple conversation.
Right.
Basic.
But he felt, in my opinion, just privileged and above me. Mm-hmm. And he could take the parking lot from me, and he did, because what my landlord did, instead of immediately demanding that the sign be removed, he offered us an alternate parking plan. And when I had been calling him and trying to reach him, because I went to Noble Smoke to try to introduce myself and ask.
How'd that go?
They asked me to leave. I left. Wow. After I was across the street about 20, 30 minutes, the general manager came across the street to attempt to have a conversation with me after he had asked me to leave the restaurant. So we had a very heated exchange, and he ended up leaving. And again, because he wasn't qualified to talk to me, you tell your boss to come talk to me, because I signed the check on my rent, for my rent, the same way that he does. Right. It's inappropriate for me to have a conversation with you. So you go clock back into your job and let your boss know to come talk to me, because you can't do it. Mm-hmm. Of course, they didn't like that. I immediately got response. The landlord was emailing, we want to meet next week. Next week wouldn't help me because it was Tuesday. We would be open that weekend. I didn't hear anything from them Wednesday. On Thursday, instead of returning my call, he called my business partner, and he had a very intimate conversation with her. And he said, this is a quote, he felt that the cooler heads that be could come to a resolution just to get us through the weekend, because he knew you couldn't come and tell me that you were going to give me an alternate parking plan, restricting me from using a lot that is a part of my lease.
Your lease, right.
Right. Why would you do that?
That's what it feels like.
That's the systemic racism
like
right there. That's the part.
Twilight zone.
That is the part.
What we say by his actions, and then he asks you to leave, but then he comes across the street. What we say is, who got to you? Who got to him? Who told him something, and then he's going to come and he's going to say, okay, look, whoop, da whoop, da whoop, and whoop. But it didn't go that way because he messed up the play.
Right.
You see? And then your landlord, who got to you? Because now you want to offer an alternative parking plan when it's right there in the paperwork.
In the
it's right there in
paperwork.
black and white. You know what it is,
They don't
but you
expect
don't
us
want
to
to
read.
enforce it. You want to offer
Well,
something else in its place.
There was a conflict. So, again, as the days were going by, the story was unfolding. So, initially, he emailed us the parking plan with the maps, mapping out where the valets would park. He came on that Sunday to make sure that, we had a smooth transition. Well, I decided to go just use my platform. Like, I can't take it anymore. Yeah. Let me be very transparent about what I'm going through. This is what it is. Mm-hmm. I've lost all this revenue. We were approved for $681,000 for the SBA Restaurant Revitalization grant. We received a funding letter saying that these monies would be deposited in 7 to 10 business days. 15 days later, we found out that a group of white restaurateurs filed a civil class action lawsuit against the SBA because the SBA had said that they were prioritizing people of color and women for the grants, and it froze the fund.
Of course she's serious.
So there was 2,900 applicants in this country. Out of all of the people that were approved, 2,900 didn't get funded, and we were one of those 2,900 in the country. So for me, this kind of like struck something in me, because it's like this group of people that are very much representative of this tenant blocked. This is kind of like deciding factor for my business. The only reason that we are not closed is because, again, our skill sets kick in, and we're generating the revenue that we need. So I've been in a struggle, and just in being honest, and again, struggles are different.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, I don't look like I'm not homeless. You know,
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But I am in a struggle because, again, as I shared online, the past 10 years, you know, I've been doing this business for a long time. My business shifted, and I was able to elevate in business because my husband has financed my career. And ironically, it's been racism.
Wow.
Now, my husband was shot in 2006 16 times by New York City police officers. His friend was murdered, Sean Bell. It's settlement that has even positioned me to be able to do business on this scale, you know, over the years. If it weren't for what he had done some years ago, I wouldn't have been positioned, you know, here now. Right. So this is a very scary space because we can't afford the loss.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We can't.
And the community can't. I need for you to know the community can't afford the lost either. Like Trey Perry says, she was like to the guests, don't let them silence you and continue to fight hard for what you've worked for. There's several people who stand for you here in this community. And what you do does matter to us. And to me now it's time for us to stand up and make that known.
Right.
And support you.
Need to show. I always say love and support are action words.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to the brunch.
Well, most men don't. Most men don't.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
I know of it, and I've heard so many great things about it. And I remember you putting your story up, and it led me to repost it. And so many people were hitting me in my DMs. What can we do?
Yeah.
And I would say, well, love and support are action words. So you can go to the brunch. Your first step, your first move is to go to the brunch. And if you see this sister, then I would ask you to give some positive energy to her. Say some positive words to her. Give her some type of strength to let her know that there are genuine people in the community who are not afraid to be a part of something that others may see or deem controversial. Now, damn it, it's time for you to let controversial bullshit
go.
All right? Now, we talk about
Will. You can say bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah. We talk about
grown man conversation.
We talk about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Right.
And I put up something on Instagram today. I put up on my story. It said, you see the way that y'all are posting and talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? Well, post some of your friends and your family members' businesses up.
Yeah.
The same way. You can do that. We talk about how crazy we think Kanye is. You know the energy that you give Kanye, and none of you know him personally?
Yeah.
And he's not in your community? Now, she is.
Yes.
And she's right here, right now. And she's been on different formats. And I salute everybody and anybody that's had her on their format so she can speak her truth. And that's what Grown Men Conversations started off as, and it still is. Speak your truth, even if it makes your voice shake.
Right.
And right now, her voice is shaking.
Right.
And it's not how you look to determine what you're going through. Because black people never look like what they're going through.
Anyway,
because we hide it.
Right. We know how to pull it
when
together.
We were talking about Dave Ramsey and the Total Money Makeover, and we said 70% of people live check to check. But you wouldn't know that.
Right.
Because we mask it. So this sister ain't supposed to walk around looking like the world is beating her up. Because what kind of hope would that give you to give her? Right. She's supposed to look exactly like she's looking. I tell you this.
Well, I'm also selling luxury. That's the thing. I'm in the luxury goods category. Our services are luxury. Right. You do not need an event planner. You do not have to have what I offer. So I don't know how I would be able. We have had clients to pay as much as $200,000 for an event. How could I convince someone to do so if I was any other way?
Exactly.
This is not a little bit of money.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I don't know how I could even be in this space my lifestyle wasn't relative. This is why I'm good at what I do. I know how to give people good things and luxury because it's my culture. It's
Right.
what I do.
Right.
So I'm selling something. I'm not doing this to be braggadocious or to make myself seem important. My entire life, this is how I've lived. This is what I love. Anything beautiful. It could be a shoe,
Right.
a flower.
As you should.
This.
So look, Trey Perry says, can we please provide her name again? I don't want to address the young lady as a guest.
It's
or-
Robbie.
Yes. Miss Robbie.
Robbie, Trey, pay attention
Yes.
because we said it a couple of times. Put that drink down. Then you know what's going on.
Right. So they be drinking while they watching Grown
Oh,
Man
so we
Conversation.
get to drink
Yes.
and cut.
It's,
Exactly.
her brunch is on Sundays, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're going to be there this Sunday, aren't we?
Yeah, and
As my
Ramadan
special guest.
starts on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Ramadan starts on Saturday, the holy month for Muslims worldwide, where we will be fasting from sunup to sundown, nothing by mouth. And I was telling her, this is the perfect time for me to come to your brunch.
Yes.
This is the perfect time. Everything happens for a reason. To come to your brunch the day after Ramadan starts is the perfect time to come because I am in the right mental space, head space. I'm sharp. I can see everything that's going on in real time. So this Sunday, Grown Gang is always talking
Come
about
on, Grown Gang.
a meetup.
Show up.
And y'all were talking about when is the next meetup? Or we'd like to do something. Grown Gang, this Sunday.
This Sunday.
The brunch is from 1 to 5 p.m.
The Good Life
Okay.
Social House. Get your ticket. How can they go and get tickets and reserve tickets? now?
You can visit www.glenderlypark.com.
Glenderly Park.
Glenderly Park.
You gotta spell for
GLENDERLY
black folk.
Park.com.
Got
And
you.
then I think you can also look her up on Instagram, Glenderly Park. Glenderly Park. Good Life.
Goodlife.social house is one page. Our new venture, the Babe Cave, is Babe Cave CLT.
And the links are on
And
the
all
page.
of the links for ticketing are on all
And
of
they
the
can go.
social pages.
Now, my
Excellent.
niece's piece is Vanyetta.
Yes.
Hosts out there, right? My nephew
absolutely.
Butterfingers
Every Sunday.
is out there, right?
Every
so
Sunday.
listen, Jackie, what up, Bunny?
Bunny.
Lady said-
Bunny.
She said she's always been a boss.
Apples. Look, somebody know you from back in the day.
So we are highly encouraging you, if you are watching, listening, paying attention to the energy tonight, that you be a part of what we are doing on Sunday. We are going out to this brunch.
Yes.
And I would like to thank this sister because she said we are her special guest. And that
Yes,
makes us
I
feel
can't wait.
special
Already.
Yes, you can come
Vernon
sit in my
Powell says,
living room.
I-
I have a living room.
Okay.
So you get to sit.
I can't wait.
Yolanda, you got to go out there 85% covered on Sunday because Ramadan starts.
I'm
You
gonna
can't have your breasts
I'm
out,
gonna be
nothing
scattered,
like that.
smothered, and
You can't
double
have your
covered.
breasts out or nothing like that.
But in a sexy way.
85% covered.
I'm gonna do it in a sexy way, baby. Vernon Powell says, "What are the times again for the brunch?"
1 to 5 every Sunday.
1 to 5
p.m.
every Sunday.
We want you to join us in Grown Gang.
We love you too, Trey Perry.
I have to ask you, pin it tone, please. Okay, when I get up, because Yolanda has to change camera angle.
Yeah, we'll pin
She
it.
doesn't like me being in the shot. She says it's unprofessional.
We're gonna pin it, but it's Good Life.
Goodlife.social
House.
Because
I
you
know,
about
but I
to-
want to
you
say
about to have
Good
somebody
Life
page
dot
about to
Social
say,
House on Instagram. Go ahead to IG right now. Follow her page if you're not following her. Go ahead and hit the link and go ahead and get your tickets reserved now for the Sunday brunch. We will be there. Grown Gang needs to be in the building for sure.
This young lady has a heart out tonight, and if you're not familiar with entertainment terminology, if I ever tell Yolanda, and I'm at an event, and I tell Yolanda, I have a heart out at a certain time, that means it don't matter what's going on with the show. I have to be gone at this time. This young lady has a heart out tonight at 9:45.
Because
She told me why she had a heart out. Would you,
Is it something that
would
we
you
can talk
please
about?
tell
Yeah,
the-
let's tell the people.
She told me she had a heart out tonight because why?
So the day that I had posted about my experience with
Mm-hmm.
Jim Noble, a woman by the name of Penny Maxwell,
I seen
who
it.
is the pastor's wife at Freedom House Church.
I seen it.
Yeah, we had a a conversation, a back and forth, that prompted her to post a 1.5 minute video, which reeking with racial slurs,
Reeking with racial undertones.
racial
We saw
undertone.
it.
It was
We saw
wild.
it.
It was so wild
We
that
saw
it was
it.
funny to me. Initially, I kind of was finding the joke in things like we do. We laugh to keep from crying. And I didn't know who she was initially. So initially when I was responding to her, I didn't know who she was. Someone else said, "Hey, that's the lady from the church." I didn't know. I know the controversy of the church and the conflict, the racial tensions. I know that, but I didn't know I didn't know names. I didn't know anything. She has been able to obtain a warrant for my arrest for communicating a threat on social media. So I have to go meet my attorney down at the jail and turn myself in so that I can address this. I don't know what this woman had to do with Jim Noble, but I will say she posted this video on Thursday. Because it was so outrageous, it was reposted on an activist with a large following because it was that ridiculous,
Right.
which just started this viral. I've been receiving messages and DMs, offers for donations from women all over the
Excellent,
country.
excellent.
It's been overwhelming.
Excellent.
But because she posted it, to kind of shed some light. The day after she posted this, on last Thursday, there were 9 sheriff cars in the parking lot at our business on our side of the street. They sat in their vehicles for over 20 minutes. I called because this is the second time that they've had this overwhelming presence.
That's intimidation tactics.
Absolutely. I called the landlord to ask him to please come over so maybe he could ask them to leave. He came. My husband and the landlord stood in front of the officers, MPs, to try to get some understanding, like, why are you here? We were told Sheriff McFadden came to our location, called in to find out what they were doing there. They said they were having lunch. And then the Sunday before, when Noble Smoke had closed and we had this alternate parking plan, so this empty lot, they were closed that Sunday. We didn't get to use the empty lot. A group of sheriffs were parked in the lot for a period of time. Then they drove up and down the street before they left. We recorded it all. So when we told them, of course, they had to investigate it. Well, they found out they were, in fact, there, but they weren't dispatched. I'm waiting for him to tell me why they were there because he never got to the bottom of that. But he did tell me that they were there on Thursday because they were going to lunch. But coincidentally, Penny Maxwell, in the same time frame, was across the street at Noble Smoke. She took a picture with Jim Noble. She posted it on her social media. Noble Smoke had it posted on their page, but they've since deleted it. So to me, that was like a stand of solidarity. This woman has said all these things in this video. I know you know about it. Defending you. I know you know about it. You issued a statement saying that you understand why I feel attacked and it's not that, but then you take a picture with this woman? What's going on? And then the police, just by coincidence, they were in the parking lot that day. They told me then that people had been coming downtown trying to get a warrant issued for my arrest, but they weren't able to. Well, then yesterday we were on the docket, we thought, to speak at the city business meeting because I had never had a conversation with the Councilman Graham because it's his
Malcolm
district.
Graham?
Yeah, where all this is going on is his district. Somehow he was omitted from the conversation when we had that meeting that date. And again, finding out the reason that the landlord, gotta say this, the reason that they didn't want us to make a big deal of this and they wanted to keep quiet, last Monday, or this past, I can't keep up with days, they were in their last phase of rezoning, and there were some hearings last Monday that took place, and they had millions of dollars on the line. The man offered me whatever I want once the press was calling him when that Friday before I did my first interview. He knew because they were calling him. Mm-hmm. So he called me that Friday and finally shared with me. The real deal was the councilman will not be able to tell the difference between him and Jim Noble. And so this situation needed to go away because literally they had millions of dollars at stake. And he thought that he had an agreement with my business partner to keep quiet. So he was shocked that then when these emails went out to the mayor and then this press, it's like, well, I thought we had an agreement. I never agreed to any such a thing,
Right.
nor did she. She was manipulated. And getting to the bottom of it, it was, oh, you had money. So when he offered money, the reason I didn't take it, one, it sounded like it wasn't ethical. And I don't trust
exactly. Something
that.
exactly that they want to record.
But I thought that it was indication that there was some liability on his part, and that I just needed to tell the truth, hire legal counsel, and there probably would be some punitive or some sort of damages. He told me, give me anything that I want. I thought, well, maybe he will. We'll get, to the other side. And I'll just tell the truth. And I kept telling them that the whole time. I wasn't going after them. It is what it is. I'm going to tell the truth. You did give me an alternative parking plan. You didn't enforce the lease until it was made public.
Right.
You didn't want us to talk about this because you did need to get that rezoning. Another thing that happened, my landlord leased space in this rezoning area on Thrift. He leased a space to a new venue called the Ruth. If you look at the renderings for the Ruth, it looks just like my venue. Over the 3-4 years of going through the construction process, we shared our business plan, our business model.
Wow.
I've shared all my intellectual property. Going through construction, we had long discussions about what was wrong with the space and what would make it ideal, what needed to be right. And this venue is representative of that. And when we met on Tuesday in their office, I told them that. Good. You had taken my intellectual property. And you weren't being malicious. You didn't think we were going to make it. Right. You probably have someone in the queue waiting to come take my lease. When you made the offer to reduce our rent from last year, it would have been $17,000, reduced it to $10,000 a month. They didn't think that we would be able to pay it.
Right.
Of course not.
And I told them that. We were going out of business. And once in June, we found out that we weren't getting the SBA loan. You knew that, you just counted us out. And it's ironic that you wanted me to be quiet for this rezoning to put my competition right in the backyard. It was in a 3-mile radius that you've signed this lease for them. So any opportunity that I have to get any non-brown customers, it's over. And unfortunately, in this marketplace, even the brown customers that can pay, their place is always better. So luckily, I'm shifting in business, and I'm not looking for private rentals, because if so, I'd be out of business because I wouldn't be able to compete with this place. And they made everything right. If you literally go and look at this rendering and look at our place, even down to fixtures and furniture, chairs, they picked the same house chairs that we had, exact same chairs. And I mean, in our business, everybody has the same thing, but it's just coincidental that my landlord would have this project.
Right.
So what I'm saying was going down, and again, this is not a little bit of money. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm in some big boy. I am mixed up in some big boys business.
You in some big boy shit.
Big boy business.
And like I have advised my family, you do know that was not long ago when we were taught about lynching and black people being set on fire and ran out of town and all that stuff. You thought that they were just randomly doing this. These were business disputes.
Yeah.
Not long ago, a black little girl like me would have got killed for getting in the middle of something like this and standing up to this. And everyone says, oh, no, racism is dead. No. Racism now is fought with economics.
Right.
But we don't see that. There is an economic war against us,
Going
brown.
on.
Right.
It's like it's missing us. Maybe it's not. How else will we cope? Because this thing has, and I know I have a hard stop, but it's rattled me because it's like, you get to such a point, especially as a professional black person that has, I'm not poor. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor.
Right.
I am 3rd generation college graduate. I'm the only non-college graduate in my family. My grandparents met at A&T. My parents met at A&T. My sister met her husband at A&T. Yeah. So, you get removed because I have a lot of white friends. I have a lot of different kind of friends just because of class, not race, just your class. Mm-hmm. So I think that I have really thought that, things were different. The reality is riveting to me. I mean, like, I could cry. Yeah. Because it's like, no, we're really not free. Nothing has really actually changed. And we've just been coping. And I just cannot stop talking because now it's like, and my husband has been jokingly calling me Sister Soldier.
You are.
because it has aroused something in my spirit, because it is troubling me that, like, we are really in trouble. And just think about it. If you think about our plight, like I explained to the landlord, just explained it to, because this man who has acquired all of this land literally said to me in one conversation throughout in this process, you got to educate me. He said, literally, I don't know. He said, I purchased dilapidated buildings and revitalized it. How am I the villain now? He said, it seems of opinion that Jim Noble is a racist, but I'm going to be penalized for it. And it's, again, like I told him, it's your privilege that has your blinders on. You can't even understand my plight. Yeah. So in me deeply trying to explain it to him in meeting like this, you inherited millions of dollars worth of commercial real estate from your father and your grandfather, right? My grandfather left 48 acres and a house that he had built himself, because my grandfather was an architectural engineer. And when they retired and moved back to North Carolina, they bought this family land and built his house. That's all he left. It was to be split with 4 grandchildren. My son is only going to be inheriting $1 million from life insurance. I pay a hefty policy each month, because that's the only way that I could figure that I could somewhat equalize things is through insurance. It won't be through my business and working, because the way that I'm trending now, what will I leave him? This man stands to leave his grandchildren more than I could ever be positioned to leave my child. And I'm working 5-6 times harder. These guys are 40 years old. One of them is second generation commercial realtor. They're younger than me. And look how they are positioned.
Privilege.
Right.
Is what it is. And you have a heart out, sis. You have to go.
Yes. Yes. And so look,
I'm going to turn myself in.
He's going to make sure the story gets on the nationally syndicated Chubb Rock Show.
Yeah, because he does that. Shouts out to Be Paid.
Yes. Trey Perry says big hugs and thank you for letting your truth and your voice be heard. And please continue to do that, sis. We are here to support you.
Thank you so much.
We are going to ride. The city and beyond is going to ride with you all the way through this. We're going to be there on Sunday. Y'all, please share this Instagram. The show tonight on Facebook. If you have it, please share it so that way people can see it. Everyone can understand the real of what's going on right now behind this situation, and we can all show up on Sunday to support.
Hey, Tank. Shouts out to my nephew, Tank.
Yes, shouts out,
I know you're
Tank.
paying attention, Tank. Come get sis. She has to go. Black people started letting that clock go.
I'm not looking forward to my appointment.
Well, I know, but we were trying to make sure.
I've been to better places.
Yes.
You might want to go ahead and finish that for you. Girl.
I am.
Get yourself together.
I'm have a cute mugshot. And
Get you a little
together.
something. And y'all stay with us, grown gang, and folks who are watching.
Few are chosen. Just know this, that you seen Malcolm X movie? It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's just done differently. You remember when the Klan came to Malcolm House with the horses? And they was the wife said, you could have killed them all. Y'all knew you better shot than that. He said, I was just trying to scam them. They won't be around here no more. The intimidation tactics. Now, like she says, the intimidation tactics is money and capital. This is a capitalistic society. Capitalism is king here. So if it's money involved, that is how the dominant society shows loyalty to money. That's why when you give a politician a contribution, the politician has to, before he moves for the betterment of his people or community, he has to understand where the financial backing came from. And if the financial backing came from over here versus the integrity to move over here, then you see how the scale is already unbalanced for you. Yeah. Because they'll listen to you. Yeah. But there's only so much he's going to do because he's worried about the money over here. And they dangle the money over your head like a carrot. And it causes you to move on butter biscuits. You want to play the butter biscuits. Okay?
Butter
you
biscuits.
move to get them butter biscuits, and then you're done.
And be bussy man.
We have to do things that are in favor of what's right. Mm-hmm. And we have to be unafraid and uninhibited when it comes to truth. That's why it says God and fear cannot coexist in the same space. And God is truth. So truth and fear cannot move in the same direction. If you have fear in the same space as truth, your truth will become watered down and you will not move off of faith. You will move off of your belief. And we all know your belief don't work.
Right.
God's belief does.
Right.
That's why I'm no longer on air now, because my belief was not working. But God's belief was.
Well, that's no longer why you're no longer on that station.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but we're going to be on air.
We're talking about a corporate America.
I know.
We're talking about Beasley.
I know. Right.
And God makes no mistakes. So if, number one, you're worried about coming to the brunch and you're worried about who might see you there, or we might take your picture and put it up on Instagram, and then you might get the fallout, don't come.
Right.
Okay? Do us all a favor and stay home.
We want true
All
supporters
right?
on Sunday.
Wear your outfit that you were going to wear in your living room and put up a post saying, this is what I was going to wear to the brunch to support the sister, but I heard that she was not serving butter biscuits, so I stayed at the house. If you understand truth and support, come out on Sunday. It's from 1 to 5.
Yes.
Come out and show some love to this sister, because this is not over. If you think Mr. Noble,
It's just getting started.
you think Noble Smoke,
You think
is
you're
going
going to push our sister out?
you can ride by his
Community.
facility and look at it and see the dominance when it comes to the money. Look at how it's laid out. Because once I rode by there and slowed down and took a look at it, I said, this is money. This facility is money. And if you think he folding that up, you are sadly mistaken. He wouldn't meet with this sister. And you know what that says. Number one, that says, that's that I'm white and I say so
Right.
privilege. And it also is, listen, why should I meet with you?
Right,
It's
the
the
respect
same thing,
level.
people, when you go to McDonald's and your fries cold. And so you go up to the front, you say, hey, my fries is cold, I'd like to get some more. But I'd also like to talk to the owner about the situation. And they'll say, well, hold on a minute. And they'll go to the back. The manager will come out and say, yes, ma'am, I heard your fries was cold. And you be like, yes, I'd like to get some new ones, but I'd also like to talk to the owner. You talk to the manager. The manager is the representative of the owner. You don't never get to talk to no damn franchise owner, no McDonald's, or no cold fries, because they're going to try to fix it within the construct of the program. You don't get to talk to no manager. Who the hell are you to talk to the owner about some cold fries? That's not what we're doing. That's the same thing you're doing to her. Who the hell are you to talk to me about a parking lot conflict when I had the manager come over there and you didn't know how to act?
Basically. But again, you know, I know that we're different. This is a
I'm
white
not
male
upset
that
about
has
this
been in business for some time. I venture to say we probably have been entrepreneurs the same amount of time. This is my 32nd year
in business.
I had my first business in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1991
Right.
in Crabtree Valley Mall.
Ooh.
So this
32
is
years
the
ago.
32nd year.
Yeah.
It's been a long, long, long time and a long journey. And it wasn't, you know, that's another conversation, because it wasn't, you know, now we have this climate, you should be your own boss, you should
But
work
it
for
wasn't
yourself.
easy for you at all.
Well, but it wasn't that. I always thought that I had no choice, because in my family, education is key. My grandmother had 11 brothers and sisters that all went to college. My grandmother's sister was one of the first, I don't know if she was the first, but as a black woman, she was awarded the Rockefeller Award. I don't know what year, but look her up, Mary Lee Mills. She was one of the founders of the nursing school at North Carolina Central. She died a millionaire. This woman was a nurse in the military, and she was an ambassador for the U.S., and she went to different countries implementing Western hospitalization and culture. All of my grandparents, my grandmother's brothers and sisters went to college, all 11 of these children, and they were all from a small town, Pender County, North Carolina.
Pender County.
Wow.
They left Pender County and all went to college, so they all lived in different places. My grandparents migrated west to Denver, Colorado, because my grandfather was an architectural engineer. They couldn't get work. He couldn't get a job unless they went out west. I started thinking, again, talking about how this thing has tripped me up. I remember my mother telling me the story, you know, when she went to high school, she went when they integrated schools, and she told me about the first day of school, how she was in the Denver Post newspaper because they had hosed the kids down. Wow. You know, so it's like you think about these things and you hear the stories and it's so far removed. But like my aunt was telling me and encouraging me to, you keep talking because you come from a family that had nothing. My family was the first family in Pender County to have a automobile, and it was because this black woman had pulled herself up out and helped all 10 of her siblings to get to college. My family, they had a system. Whoever graduated, once you graduated, you have to each month give X amount of your income to whomever the students were still in school, helping get. They cycled and helped each other.
Generational wealth.
Yes. My mother's birth father owned nightclubs. That's where this comes from. Nightclubs, grocery stores. They were a prominent family. So entrepreneurialism. That's been in my. I'm in Charlotte because when I was moving back to North Carolina, my mom had moved to Charlotte, and she was in partnership with the United Cerebral Palsy. She owned a print shop on Moorhead. My mom had a $1 million printing business. I worked for we've always done business. So over the years, I've just experienced a lot of hardships, but I could say never nothing like this. This has just shook me to my core because it's like the reality check that you think you have come so far, but no, you haven't, because something so simple as a parking lot they could take from me. I have never been bullied. I've never been punked this way. It is disturbing my spirit because it's like I've never let anyone just take something from me. Right. I always play offense. I'm not. Defense. I'm playing the defense. Anytime anybody I'm always reacting to situations. By nature, I want to be pleasant. I want to be kind. I want to be sweet. Right. But again, in sharing stories, it's like I've just been in a hostile work environment, and just after the fact, you're looking back, like I shared this story about how in 2010. I think my career changed, and I started to think, it was a career because we had hosted this after party for Jay-Z after party in Greensboro at Lotus Lounge. So this is like the ultimate as a promoter.
Yeah, to have a Jay-Z party.
Yeah, it's like, okay. That night, in the wee hours, there were about 16 men, all with guns, cocking guns because they were internally fighting. And I literally that night, after this high, I thought I might not make it. I can't tell you how many times I have crawled up under something. I've had to have a weapon. This is a hostile environment. So it's like, does anybody notice that there aren't a lot of me's in this space? The women in this space are bartenders. Yeah. They are bottle girls. Bottle servers. Yeah. There aren't a lot of me's in this country. Yeah. And I have fought and fought and fought and fought. And of course, by now I'm worn out.
But that's why we need to ride with you and support you. As you all hear, our sis, we need to make sure that we have her back and support, come out and show love, do what we need. Yeah, B. Page says your Raleigh fam has your back. They're going to be there. This brunch is going to be so packed out tomorrow. They're going to need to build 2 parking lots. I mean, on Sunday, they're going to need to build 2 parking lots for us all to get up in there.
We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
The podcast. We appreciate you coming on Grown Man Conversations and speaking your truth. A lot of people, that's easier said than done. Yeah. And you're dealing with what we've been dealing with all of our lives, but now it raises its ugly head and shows you that whatever you thought, whatever you heard, whatever you felt about it being dismissed is so not true. We are still here. Racism, we are still here. The Good Old Boy Network, it is still here. Yes, this is called the Bible Belt, but not for what you think, okay? It takes a total different meaning, because the first thing you said about this young lady who made that video, you said, this is the wife of a prominent pastor. In a prominent church. And in that church over in the South End? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I see it all the time. I thought that was it. And you know why? They building that Beulah's.
Right next door, they're neighbors.
They're friends. Yes. I pay attention when I ride and I walk. Yeah. Right. So understand this. We need your truth and we need your energy. Yeah. And on Sunday, I am encouraging you all to come out.
Please come out.
You want a reason to we outside?
Yeah.
This is what you do.
Show up, grown gang. Right? Show up.
For this brunch on Sunday. And let's just show some support, because she needs it. Yeah. And then it doesn't just stop with a brunch. Right. You went to the brunch and you're like, all right, we had to do, this is going to be serious.
Yeah, because I I'm very appreciative of the local community, but I've done business with a lot of influential people, and I'm hopeful that they will speak to the good business that I have always done.
Yes.
These are a lot of relationships. These are important relationships.
Right.
This is bigger than me at this point. And it's like, and I kept saying, all along that this is bigger than a parking lot. Because I couldn't understand, what are you making fuss over? It's COVID. We trying not to die.
Right.
Why are you worried about the parking lot?
Right.
And it ain't nobody in it.
Right.
It's not at capacity. Yeah. So
Right.
this
why?
isn't
'Cause
going to
it's your
stop.
pocket.
Yeah.
This isn't going to stop. And like Tanya says, do not lose your fighting spirit, sis.
It's hard.
We are here to support you, Sister Soldier.
Thank you
You do not have to do it by
You have to
yourself.
keep her built up. And you have to, you pray
I'll
for your
pray,
sister.
honey.
You pray for her,
Yes.
and you send some positive energy toward her. Energy is everything, and people, we are all connected.
Yeah.
So whatever you can do it. All right? Speak up, speak out,
Speak out.
share.
Show up.
Share the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Go to her page. Look at what she put up about. Share that. All right? Because the more information is the new currency.
Yeah.
So the more truth can get out, a lot of people miss it. Just like a lot of people don't know I'm off the air. Still, a lot of people miss this information, and you don't want them to miss this. And this is all we're moving in right
Moving in love.
Yeah.
And Robbie, you got something you want to
that
say?
we're moving in right here.
Well,
before
I
you
just
have to
want
go.
to say that I don't manage our business pages. We have a social manager. So if you want to contact me personally, it's the Robbie Report on
The
Instagram.
Robbie Report
The
on
Robbie
Instagram.
Report.
Which is a play, ladies and
Off the
gentlemen,
Rob Report. I
Rob
know,
Report,
which
which
lets
is-
you know
I've
that
always been trying to
luxury.
give you the news.
that I used to subscribe to, and they
The
said it was
luxury.
made for the 1%. And I used to read the Rob Report just so I could dream.
So it means
See what
likewise.
the 1%
Yeah.
was
Likewise.
doing. Because
Yes.
I'm over here looking at King magazine, and
Likewise.
I'm seeing a female in a bikini, and I'm seeing some rims and a few houses. And then I look at the Rob Report, and they got ads
Yachts,
for
right.
yachts
And boats
private
and
planes.
helicopter
And listen,
rides,
I'm like-
dinner on a mountain.
And I'm like, so this is what happened.
Yeah.
And it's still happening.
Yeah.
So listen.
And that's
man.
what she provides at Good Life
yes,
Social
yes,
House
'cause
is that
we-
quality experience and good life of luxury.
Because we are operating in excellence, and I feel proud now knowing that we always were doing our best. We always say, like, just show out. Like, it doesn't matter who the client is. Always just
Right.
show out. And we have been. These women, because, again, I work with a group of women and vendors that are all minority women. All of these women creators, Etta Cakes, Couture Treats, I'm sorry, Elliot, because his name is Elliot. I can't remember his company, but he offers sound and lighting. All black vendors.
Right.
We are operating in excellence. I only work with the best,
Yeah.
and we have been working and doing very good quality work. So this is something that our people, we could be proud of, and that's what you see with these women. They come
Absolutely.
dressed to the nines. They have a great time because we're operating in excellence. We have art. We have real art. Stephen Wilson art. And Stephen Wilson himself, last Thursday, with all this chaos going on, he came personally to do the install of these butterflies. So check out Stephen Wilson so you know who he is, because he's a local artist that is known all over. He has a studio here in Charlotte. And he was kind enough to come over and do the install. We're just operating in our excellence. I'm sacrificing everything to give, because conceptually it was the life that I live, the luxury that I'm privy to. I think every girl. So we have this normalizing black girl luxury. That's what we're doing at the Good Life.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's what we're
Praying
doing.
There's
little brown girl magic.
Excellent,
For you.
and
Yes.
Black girl
it is evident just if you look at the quality of work, because this is not my work. I am just the conductor. I'm
is
just
God's
putting
work.
Yes, and these women and their excellence, and if you look at these vendors and the work that they do,
We see it.
Yeah, it's not normal. We're not the norm.
Yeah.
It's
so above,
yeah,
so
it's
it's
above
already-
average,
Yeah, we're
right?
not.
We have just been taught to believe that we are the norm, but we're not. There's nothing normal
It isn't.
about us. The world wouldn't be trying to take so much from
us.
because they know we hold the secrets. So listen, ladies, come Sunday and get on the swing.
Yeah.
Get on the swing.
I gotta get on the infamous swing and
All right,
take a
get on the
picture.
swing.
Come take
Get some
a
of
picture
those
in front of the
treats.
butterfly with the
Yes.
fly girl neon
Yes.
sign.
Those specialty
All the
drinks.
specialty
I love
cocktails
the
and all the
cocktails.
glassware. We have the birds, we have pigs, we have rats.
You say pigs?
Yeah, we have a little pig.
I'm not gonna be
glass.
taking a picture by them because I got an X on my name. So the last thing I'm gonna do is take a picture by some
A
pork.
pig drink.
Okay, not gonna do that. That's what won't happen.
But the glass isn't pork. It's just a pork. It's just a
We
glass.
can't do it. We can't do it, sis. We cannot do it. No pig, nothing. All right, but y'all have at it. Okay, but I can't do that. I can't do that. But
Well,
listen,
I have enjoyed you guys. Thank
We
you
have
so
enjoyed
much
you.
for this.
Thank
love.
you so much for spending time with
No,
us.
really.
We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
yeah.
Grown Gang, get your tickets.
And before we go, I just want to leave you with these two things. Number one, grownfitwear.com. 4 new colors for the tracksuits.
Yes.
The
Green
royal
coming.
blues
Yes.
are almost gone. Hit us up and get some of that, like my son says, drip. Like we used to say back in the day, get some of that freshness. Grownfitwear.com. Also, don't forget about Grown Man Tips, the book. If you don't have that in your home, you need to have it, okay? Right there on the nightstand by the Bible that you keep. Put them both right there, okay? By that old Bible with the 23rd Psalm. You got the bookmark in the 23rd Psalm, and that's the only one you read. That's the only scripture you read
Right.
is that 23rd
That's the
Psalm.
only one they know.
And then talking about that was my mama's favorite scripture. So listen, get the book. You can go to tonexedutainment.com. And if you missed a dope night in comedy, if you missed the taping of my comedy special, It's Bigger Than Radio
yeah.
at Stats. Listen, the next installment of Laughing Up Thursdays is coming April 28th.
28.
April 28th.
Yes.
Tickets go on sale this Friday. My girl, Just Niche.
Woo!
Now listen, I'm telling you, Lou said, hey, nephew, why don't you try to get some of them people that's got all them followers on the internet? I said, yeah, we can do that, but they got to be funny. If you go to Showtime and you watch the Monique and Friends special, Corey B came last month. Now y'all want her to come back. Just Niche was also on the lineup.
Baby.
With me, Donna Rollins,
She
and
got to
PCW
kill it.
on Monique and Friends. You need to get your tickets because this right here is going to be something special.
Yeah.
So make sure you're in the building for Just Niche Laugh It Up Thursdays, April 28th. Tickets go on sale this
Friday.
Friday at ysprosent.com. Me and Yolanda might as well go down to the goddamn precinct.
Yeah, we all going to jail, goddamn.
I'm going.
Come on.
I'm just going.
Set us free.
No, we're not going.
Set my stuff
we're not
free.
going to do that. I'm going to do this right here.
Oh, we do this.
And then I just want
Come on now.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Too much
No,
No,
fun.
don't do that. That's got me in trouble.
But that's with the FOI behind me, though.
Don't do that.
Or you want me to take a picture with a pig on the glass, but you don't want to let me do my FOI.
Right.
Nah,
We're
don't
going to
do
let
that.
them know.
Don't be
You
doing
ain't
that.
ready.
Don't do
We
that.
gone. Yolanda hit the music.
Hit the music. Come on now.
It's a
the
grown man in the building. I don't think you're ready. Come on. We riding on some grown man knees. We step into some grown man knees. Conversation on some grown man knees. Put your hands up on some grown man knees. We puffing on some grown man knees. We sipping on some grown man knees. Come on. We vibing on some grown man knees. We loving on some grown man knees. I know, you know, that you're down with me.